He's a musician, he's a comedian, he's Reggie Watts. He's perhaps best known as a band leader for CBS's The Late Late Show with James Corden. In his Netflix stand-up special called Spatial Watts showed us his unique style of combining music and comedy. It included a song about the effects of Benadryl.
I know I'm really sleepy.
Benadryl?
I got a drippy, the drippy, the drippy, the drippy, the drippy, the drippy, the scratchy, the scratchy, the itchy, itchy, the drippy, the drippy, the drippy, the drippy, drippy, the scratchy, the itchy, the itchy, itchy, itchy.
Benadryl?
Benadryl, anybody taking that? Sure. Now Watts is adding author to his resume. His new memoir is called Great Falls, Montana. Here's the second line. Fast times, post-punk weirdos, and a tale of coming home again. Reggie Watts, we welcome you to CBS Mornings. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Now, in your book, you say, your words, I'm a connoisseur of weed, Robitussin, and old James Bond movies.
Yes.
Sounds like a good night.
Yeah. Yeah. Very strange, but very good nights. Yes.
Now, you also say this about yourself. You knew at an early age that you were different from all the other kids. Number one, you're in Montana. You're multilingual, you're biracial, you knew that you were strange. And instead of shying away from that, you said, I'm going to embrace it and I'm going to make kids like me. What did you do?
Yeah, well, I basically, I think when I was born, all I wanted to do is have a good time. And I would do that at any cost, like I'd pursue it at any cost. But I think when I was really young and my parents would have their friends over, for adult nights, I loved hanging out with the adults. That's usually what happens with only child. And so I just became kind of an entertainer at those parties.
Did you feel ostracized as a kid, though? Because it's not like you fit in right away. It didn't seem so in the book.
No, I can't. I'm sure I did, but I don't readily remember it. I remember like just assimilating however I could as quickly as I could.
Yeah.
That was always like
It's a survival tactic.
Exactly. Yeah. And it felt nice. I mean, it just like, I don't know, I've just always been, that's always how I enter into situations.
Yeah, most people as adults, we have this comfort with ourselves, or at least we act as if we do. But I almost guarantee it that every person has felt out of the box at some point. What would be your advice to people that are sitting at home? They're just like, I'm so unique, I'm different, but I don't like being myself in public.
And it's tough because there's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's a real thing because people want people to fit in. You know, I think it's a natural thing. I don't think it's necessarily always like I want to reduce you. It's just more like I want to know what you are so I can move on with my day. However, I think like if you are unique, man, embrace it. Like you gotta whatever makes you happy when you're at home, no matter how nerdy it is. Like nowadays, actually, we're lucky because the internet shows us different ways of being.
It's true.
So nerdiness is celebrated and weirdness is celebrated. So in some ways, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But you tell a very poignant story. Your dad is black, your mom is white, she's French, she has this French accent. You're a little kid, one of the kids calls you the N-word, the father actually. And your mom goes rushing over there and she takes him on. She's a little bitty thing. But what impact did that have on you as a little kid?
I mean, it sucked. I mean, the feeling that you feel even when you're a little kid and I didn't fully understand what that word meant necessarily, but I knew you can feel the energy behind it.
Yeah.
And of course, like, you know, there was like fear. I mean, the KKK was like always a constant fear to me, you know.
That changed the way you looked at your mom?
Well, my mom was like, well, she was a protector, you know, and I kind of like had that spoiled, privileged viewpoint of like, come on, Mom, don't embarrass me. And when in actuality, she was protecting me.
Quite heroic.
Yes, and I'm eternally grateful for that.
So you say you were born and you basically just wanted to have a good time, but you couldn't accomplish all you have and get to the place where you are right now with the book and all the work you're doing without working very hard. So where did you get that work ethic?
I definitely got that from my parents. My mom worked so hard. You know, she was a contract cleaner, house cleaner for the base, the Air Force Base. And so she had to, you know, do white glove inspection level cleaning.
Wow.
Fully empty houses, like fully clean, ready for the next family to move in. And so she became the top cleaner. She was always in demand. She worked so much, she'd work late at night. She worked all the time. She was one of the hardest workers. So I considered myself lazy compared to her.
So from Montana to James Corden, how did you and James Corden get together?
I just had completed filming half of a season of a show I was on called Comedy Bang Bang, which stars me as a fake band leader on a fake talk show.
Yes.
Then 2 weeks, I was supposed to go back to New York where I was living because it was this other show was shooting in LA. Supposed to go back. Then my manager says, hey, this guy wants to talk to you before you leave. He's got a talk show. And I was like, what? And so I met with him. He's like, yeah, I got the talk show, CBS, whatever. So, and I'm like, you're asking me to be a real band leader with an actual...
With a real show.
On an actual show. It's like, what is the likelihood of that? Within 2 weeks of me leaving, this is insane. And I thought about it long and hard. And then a bunch of friends were like, just go for it, you know, see what happens.
And you had a very good run. I'm sitting here looking at your shirt. I'm trying to figure out, sex positive, what does that mean?
It's like sex. All right.
Sex, it's a good thing?
Yeah, sex. It's not bad. It's right. No, it's just like, I think it's like people who are like, you know, who like sex in a healthy way sometimes get shamed for it and get called slurs for it and things like that. And so it's kind of like part of, it's like just like a positive message to like empower people to that sensuality is a good, healthy thing. And
I love that message.
And it doesn't mean anything.
I love that message, too.
Yeah,
You got the whole look.
I second that.
You second that emotion. Reggie Watts, continued success to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.